All right, we are live. What is up, everybody? I know it's a random Wednesday morning at about 10:25, and I appreciate you guys for being here. For whoever is here, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go ahead and get something pulled up here on my laptop just so we're in the sync mode, so I see what's on here as well as see what's on here, and then we'll go ahead and get to talking. So give me 1 second here. Obviously, big news, very big news just got announced. Well, I think it got announced like 2 hours ago, but you know, um, I think since Florida is 3 hours ahead of us, I think it got announced at like 6 in the morning or something like that. But I appreciate you guys being here while we're going to be talking about this update. As you can tell by the title of the video as well, I'm sure if you saw the thumbnail, Walt Disney World has made their announcements to what their plans are for reopening all four parks in Florida. And that is huge news. And honestly, I wonder, I wonder if more people are excited versus scared now. I guess we'll see, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the details pulled up just so we can kind of go over that with you. Let's see. Oh, I just noticed. Walt Disney Springs, World of Disney opened today too. Man, it's crazy to see. It's crazy to see like everything start to reopen again. But it's crazy to see it reopen, but it's very heartwarming because it makes me feel like everything's kind of going back to normal. But you know, I don't think the things that we consider normal are going to be what we were used to or what we're accustomed to when it comes to us visiting the parks. Let's see. Okay, so what I have here is kind of like a bullet point of what went down in the meeting that they had in Florida today about theme parks opening and stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of go over that, kind of see if you guys have any opinions on it or anything like that, and then basically just kind of talk about it. But I just want to say once again, thank you guys so much for being here. If you haven't already, make sure to give that video a thumbs up, and we'll go ahead and get to started here. So first, of course, a couple things that we're going to talk about is Walt Disney World and their phase of the opening and all that. So Walt Disney World calls for phase reopening, and it will begin opening with Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom on July 11th. So that's really exciting. It's basically it's a little bit over like about a month and a half, month and a half from now. And then, of course, after that, Epcot and Hollywood Studios will be opening up on July 15th. So we got a full month and then about a week or so, a week and a half until that actually happens. So all of June, from what I'm understanding, is they're going to actually be training all the employees for all their respective parks on how they are going to basically adhere to the new accustomed, I guess, arrangements for COVID-19 and guests returning to the parks. So, of course, 6 feet away, have everything sanitized, social distancing rules, all that. So that's what they're going to be getting trained on during the month of June. And for all four parks, that sounds like a lot to get over, especially for how many employees Florida has for Walt Disney World. I mean, it's so much bigger than Disneyland, so I expect it's going to take a long time for everybody to get like on that protocol and that training. But a couple more details, a couple more bullet points, real quick. Disney will, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Disney will require a reservation system for guests to come play in the parks. Wow, that's I mean, I kind of foresaw it because Shanghai Disney did the same thing, but like, dang, like you have to basically go the flex pass route in order to come to Disneyland or to Magic Kingdom in Florida. So if you try to show up without a reservation, apparently you're not going to get in. And I don't know how crazy that's going to be as far as like trying to get a reservation, especially for opening day, for all the people that are planning to go opening day. But I mean, I can just imagine it's probably going to be chaos. It's definitely going to be chaos for sure. And I'm pretty sure whatever site they're going to use is going to go down, or whatever, details are going to pull like on a mobile app or anything like that. For sure it's going to probably go down like usually almost every other site that they've had for like reservation systems or anything like that goes down. So basically, you will require a reservation to actually come to visit the parks in Disney World. So yeah. Let's see. Next up, guests and cast members will be required to wear not Disney masks, but will be required to wear masks on a Disney property. Company issued masks will be distributed as well for cast members. So, in very similar fashion to um, Universal Studios in Florida or in Orlando, you have to wear a mask in order to enter the park. So that goes for cast members as well as guests. So from what they're saying, all cast members will be distributed masks. I'm assuming at the beginning of their shift before they actually enter property or anything like that, or they were required to bring their own. It didn't say anything about guests requiring on bringing their own, or if they will be provided a mask upon arriving on Disney property. But one thing I do want to mention, going back on the last video we talked about when Universal Studios opened, was that Universal Studios initially had said, if you do not have a mask and you come to the property, we will basically provide you a mask. I think about a day or so after that, they went ahead and flipped the script and they said, if you don't have a mask, we will go ahead and sell you a mask. So they're definitely looking at this as a more profitable experience versus a more convenience experience for the guests. So I don't know if Disney's going to go that route or not, but to be perfectly honest, for it being a theme park and for Disney and its history, I would not expect them to do that route as well. So that's just my theory. They didn't mention about how they're going to do the whole mask, like if you don't have a mask thing, but I would assume that they will go ahead and say, if you do not have a mask, they will not be providing you one free of charge, and you will probably have to buy one if they have them available at the park. Which I'm assuming, if Disney is smart, they will probably have the masks that they've been pre-ordering on Shop Disney available for people to buy, because I think you get like 4 masks for like $20. So I definitely think that that's going to be the case. So if you were to be one of those people that show up at the parks with no masks, be ready to buy one or not go into the park. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Cast previews, soft opening preview days proposed ahead of July 11th. So that was kind of what I was talking about earlier about them getting trained and basically having like cast member days. So cast members kind of have an idea of what to expect prior to the park's opening. So that's going to be happening, I'm assuming, all month of June. And I mean, it's definitely needed. I feel like people definitely need, especially that length of time in order to get everything ready and make sure everybody is set to go with all the new updates and all that stuff. Let's see. There will be a reduction in park capacity for distancing purposes, as well as temperature screenings for guests and cast members. So again, very similar to like Universal Studios, they're going to be issuing the temperature checks. I personally don't know how they're going to be doing it. I would assume it's going to be that scan of the forehead thing. And if you probably scan like over, I think it's like 100.3 degrees, they basically will not allow you to enter the park. So that's something that I'm assuming that they're going to do. I believe Universal Studios also put the same, information out there for their screenings. I'm assuming what they're also going to do is, I mean, it would make sense for them to, if they're going to implement this, for it to be prior to you getting to security. So basically you walk up to people or you walk up to the people to get their temperature checked. If you're solid to go through, then cool. You go to security, you get checked, you go into the parks. But I hope they don't do it after security, because I feel that's going to be so inconveniencing to everybody who's not going to be able to enter the park. Because I mean, say you go to security, they check your bag, and then you go to temperature screening, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, you're over 100.3. You need to leave." It's like, well, I just spent all this time going through security and wasting my time going to security for you to tell me I can't go into the parks because I'm a little overheated today or whatever the case might be. So I'm really hoping that they kind of do it like in a smart way where they do temperature check, security check, and then park entering. That would probably make more sense. Of course, that's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts. I don't know if they're going to. But as far as temperature screenings, they're saying that they will go ahead and have that taken care of for guests and cast members. And I do see some questions in the chat right now, guys. I'm sorry I'm not answering them. I'm just trying to go ahead and get to the bullet points that we have here. And I promise I will go ahead and answer any questions you guys have towards the, not the end, but after we get to the bullet points and I talk about what we already know. Just because I'd rather go ahead and go through everything first and then kind of go over your guys' questions. And let's see. Oh, well, let me go back to that point. So reduction in park capacity. So I don't know what the park capacity is for Florida parks, especially for each different park, because, you know, each different park has different size. But I'm assuming they're probably going to cut capacity about 30%. That would just be my thought. Like 30% of what their normal capacity is, they'll probably cut that by 30%. Because, I mean, let's face it. They're not going to only let 1,000 people in the park. They're not going to only let in 2,000 people at the park. I mean, if Magic Kingdom has a capacity of like 100K, let's just say, they're probably going to cut that by 30 and still let in that many people in. Maybe they might stagger, you know, people getting let in, stuff like that, so they can kind of let people, you know, go throughout the park and kind of spread out. I don't know for sure, but that would kind of be my guess. But for sure, capacity is going to be cut, and I would assume it's going to be cut by 30%. Let's see. They will temporarily suspend parades, fireworks, and events that typically attract crowds. That is big news. That is huge news. That is huge news considering that a lot of people go to Disneyland for shows, for parades, and for fireworks. I know for a fact that I absolutely love fireworks, and I know there's a huge fan base that is completely in love with Happily Ever After in Florida, because, I mean, it's a great show. I've only seen it once, and I don't really remember it too much because I was really focused on filming it instead of actually enjoying it, so big mistake on my part. But from what I do remember, fireworks at Florida were actually really, really cool. The projections were awesome. I did get to see a DVC fireworks show, which was fantastic. It was actually really, really cool. So I can just imagine if I would have paid attention to Happily Ever After, it would probably have been that much more beautiful. But yeah, so shows, fireworks, parades, all gone for now. So what does that mean for people who are going to be going to the parks? What can they do? Well, they can enjoy the ambiance of Disney. They can go ahead and go on rides. Who knows when that's actually going to like come into effect where they're going to have the ride system set up. But you can go on rides. You can buy merch. You can buy food, which I'm hoping they have the mobile ordering system all done, because I know Universal Studios is basically going all mobile ordering route. So they cut capacity by 75%. Wow, that is crazy. I did not know it was that much, but if they do that for Disney World, that's going to be huge. But yeah, so I mean, as far as things to do at Disneyland that doesn't include parades, fireworks, shows, I mean, there's still technically a lot you can do, but it's not everything that you would expect, because of course going to Disneyland, you're expected to see shows, you're expected to see fireworks, parades, because I mean, they go through all this trouble to make sure they put a show on for you, but you're not going to get that no more. So it's a huge bummer. I think a lot of people are going to be upset about it, but I would hope that people understand more than be upset. But I guess we'll see when the time comes. Let's see. Another big thing, this is actually huge, especially for kids. Meet and greets will actually be suspended. So there will be no meet and greets with characters face to face, and you will not be able to come up to the customers, come up to the characters, meet the characters, hug the characters, shake the character's hand, interact with the characters. And that's a real bummer, because especially kids who are going to Disneyland for the first time, they are not going to be able to run up and meet Minnie. They're not going to run up and... Sorry, I got a phone call. Yeah, like I was saying, they're not going to be able to run up and meet Mickey. They're not going to run up and meet Minnie. They're not going to run up and meet Donald, Goofy, or any other character. They're not... It's not going to be able to happen. They are completely suspending character meet and greets. The thing that I would assume is what they're having in Shanghai, where they allow characters come out like on a stage and you're able to say hi from afar and stuff like that. Maybe like take a picture like at an angle so they're behind you. But as far as them being, buddy buddy next to you, they are not going to allow that, unfortunately. So that's a huge bummer. I feel like that's more of an issue for, like I said, the children, because meeting a character as a kid for the first time, especially if you um, really love that character, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. Like you're literally going to go up to a character and be excited and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like you can't give Mickey a hug." It's like, what? Like, even me as an adult, I love meeting characters, especially when the characters are fun and they interact with you. But it's like you don't have that experience no more. So it's a huge heartbreaker, and I feel like a lot of families are gonna feel that a lot more than like anybody else who goes to Disneyland for any other reason. Let's see. Here's another thing here. Disney is developing relaxation zones for guests who need to take their masks off for a little bit. So, what this kind of sounds like is there is going to be. I want to kind of compare it to like a smoking area. And if somebody gets offended by that, I'm sorry, but that's just kind of my comparison. They're going to be having designated areas where they will have locations where guests can come and take off their masks and just relax and breathe properly momentarily until they, of course, maybe they can catch their breath. Maybe they can, feel better if they're feeling a little too hot. Sorry, I got a notification here. Let me get that out the way. There we go. And I would assume that there's going to be a cutoff section, kind of like a smoking area, to where you can only do that in that area. And then, of course, once you pass that line or that boundary, you're required to put your mask back on. So that's an update that's supposed to be coming. I really don't know how well people are going to be practicing that whole mask and area mask takeoff stuff. Made no sense. I don't know how well people are going to be practicing that as far as removing the mask only in that designated area. Just because from what people have been saying, I think a lot of people have noticed this in Disney Springs already, is guests are taking advantage of the fact that they might be walking around and they have a beverage or some food in their hands and they're walking around and eating it with their mask off instead of, staying at one place and just eating it or drinking it and then, putting their mask back on. So they're basically walking around Disney Springs with their mask, on their chin or on their neck, and they're eating and drinking and they're just walking around with no mask on. So they're taking advantage of that loophole, basically. So I could definitely see guests doing that at the actual parks. That's my thoughts, my opinion. Don't at me, don't flame me. That's just what I think is going to happen, because there are so many people that are against having masks on when you go to the park and stuff. So, that's just what I think is going to happen. Let's see. Currently, no hotel updates or queue updates. So, as of right now, for the hotels all around Disney World, there's no updates on what's going to happen there. I'm assuming once once this proposal all gets approved by, I believe, the governor of Florida, as well as the mayor of where is Walt Disney World? Is it in Celebration? I could be wrong. I think it's Celebration. As well as the mayor of wherever Disney World is. I'm sorry, I'm not too knowledgeable of where Disney World is actually located. I'm assuming once all that gets approved, then they'll go ahead and start making their announcements as far as like hotels. Orange County, thank you, Jacinto, yeah. Thank you so much for that. They'll start making their updates for hotels where people can go ahead and do the reservations and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable staying at a hotel so soon. But then again, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the next 2 months? So as far as updates and bullet points, those were the bullet points I wanted to go over. I know, once again, there were a lot of questions in the chat. So please, if you do have a question, you guys can go ahead and answer it now, and I'll do my best to answer it. If there was a question, go ahead and ask it now, and I'll do my best to answer it. I was going to wake up to watch this information be broadcasted live, like the way we did for Universal Studios. but I was unaware that it was gonna happen at freaking 6 in the morning. So when I woke up, I think I woke up at like 9 something, and I saw the updates. I was like, oh man, I totally missed it. But I still wanted to come on live and talk to you guys about it, and hopefully answer any questions that anybody might have in regards to what's going on and what the updates may be for Disney World reopening. So in case people missed it again, the opening dates are going to be for Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom on July 11th. And then Epcot and Hollywood Studios will be on July 15th. So if you missed that, there's that information there. I think there is a huge lag right now with the communication between us because of that phone call that I received. So my apologies if anything's getting lag on your guys' side. Oh yeah, definitely lag. I'm just getting the questions now. Let's see. Lowering the capacity is good, but bad for Disney California means less people, more potential to enjoy the parks. Sad part is when the lower capacity means less people will have access to the parks. Yes, 100%. So lower capacity means that there's going to be a lot less people to enjoy the parks. So that includes regular guests, that includes annual pass holders, that even includes cast members, because cast members, of course, they can get into the parks for free because they have the actual cast member thing where they can enter the parks. When do you think Disneyland would open? Honestly, I projected personally that Disneyland would open in July. I really thought Disneyland would open in July, and we were gonna see Disney World open probably at the end of June. I thought, and I thought Disneyland would have followed suit, and they would have probably opened up, I'd say mid-July. But considering that Disney World is opening up beginning and mid-July, I would assume that it's going to be at the end of July or possibly mid-August when all that begins to open here in Anaheim. So that's my thoughts there. Let's see, I got a couple more here. Per Disney website, Disney Vacation Club properties and Walt Disney World and Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground will begin to reopen to members and guests on June 22nd, and Disney Vacation Club properties in Vero Beach, Florida and Hilton Head, South Carolina will open on June 15th. That's surprising. That's actually surprising to hear that those hotels and stuff will be opening so early, considering the parks won't be opening until July. So I'm assuming, about assumptions, they're going to be making a change to where they're not going to have them open so early. They're probably going to have them open, I would say probably July 1st. I think July 1st would probably be the first day that they open. Maybe people want to come early to enjoy whatever's open in Florida. And then, once the park's open, they go. Let's see here. I think Disney should cancel AP holders for anyone outside California or Florida. I don't know if they should cancel it. I do know for a fact that there are a lot of annual pass holders who live like up north in like Central California, or as well as Northern California, like San Jose, San Francisco, Sacramento. There's a lot of people who are annual pass holders that live up there, and of course they have annual passes because they make the trip so many times down here to SoCal to enjoy the parks. And I know there's a lot of people like in Texas. There's a lot of people like in Nevada, like Alicia. Alicia's in Nevada, and she always comes as often as she can. So I think if there's any like lag with the camera, guys, I'm so sorry. I think that phone call really kind of messed everything up. But yeah, I think people that have APs that don't live in like California or Florida, I think they're just as entitled to have APs just as much as anybody else. Another reason for that is because they don't get the payment program like we get. So of course, if you live in Southern California, you get the option to do a monthly payment plan. If you do not live in Southern California, you have to pay for that up front. So I think Disney would rather make the money versus prevent people from entering the park. So I think that's how it's going to be with that. Let's see. Honestly, the time doesn't matter. The safer, the better. All precautions are for safety and cast members. Yes, Barbara, totally agree with you. As far as things opening, I think it's more important to make sure everybody's safe versus everybody coming to the park sooner than later. I think what they need to do is really focus on making sure the cast members are trained properly, because I mean it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to kind of readjust to, especially when you're so used to people being so close and compact. So definitely think it's a lot better for people to be safe rather than enter a theme park. Let's see. If they do reservations in Anaheim, I wonder if they will continue to extend the passes for Signature Plus holders because we pay for the ability to go every day. That is a fantastic question slash comment, Sergio. I think they should definitely do something for annual pass holders who are due either the monthly pass or doing the or who paid all up front, because if there is a reservation system and people who paid for the annual pass that allows them to go every single day, if they're not able to go every single day because this reservation system kicks in, then they're basically paying for a pass that's irrelevant at that point. The only way that they'll be able to go is if they get the reservation system. And, you know, what are the chances that they're able to get the reservation system to go every single day? The probability of that happening is probably pretty low. And so if you're not getting your money's worth because you're trying to go every single day, and you can't because, you know, the reservation system gets full or gets booked up, then to me it's really not worth you paying all that money for a pass that you can't, you know, utilize completely. A big example would be Jeff, who's the guy who went to Disneyland I think 6 years straight, and unfortunately his streak got broken because of you know, Disneyland closing. So I just think about him, like what would he do? What would be the situation he'd have to try and take care of, considering that he wants to go every day to do his streak again, but he was not going to be able to because, you know, the reservation system. So that's just, I don't know. I definitely think that people who have signature or have APs and stuff like that, they should get some type of break, considering that reservations are going to be first come first serve. So I don't know. That's just what I think. Let's see. NBA might hold the rest of the season at Disney World. May delay the reopening of many resorts in Disney World. I've heard about that. I'm not too caught up on the whole NBA thing or anything like that, so I don't really know too much about sports. Sorry if you're offended by that, but I heard that NBA, like the season might just happen in Florida and Disney World, which might be cool for people who want to go see it. I don't know if they're going to allow people to go see it or not, but, you know, at least they have a location where they might be able to do that. Cast members will probably get either completely blocked out or not be allowed to sign anyone in. Diego, that's actually a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Considering that cast members are usually blocked during certain parts of the year, I think they might go ahead and implement that again for this whole reopening of the parks. I don't think they talked about it yet for Walt Disney World, but I mean for Disneyland, considering it's a smaller park, I'm pretty sure they're going to do that. The thing is though, like for a cast member, I think I would be really upset if I'm not able to get into the park and like use one of my perks because of the whole like pandemic. Like if I, like, you tell me like, oh yeah, you can come to work, but you can't come to the park. Like, I don't know how I'd be able to like deal with that. That's, yeah, I don't know. I don't really think people are going to be too happy about that. Monthly payments for APs in California residents. We had them until last year. We're from NorCal. Okay, got it, yeah. Face masks in Florida heat will cause more problems for a lot of people. I think it should be optional. Sure hope that phase don't last long. I will not renew until then, which really stinks. As far as face masks, I mean, it's a very hot commodity. There is definitely a lot of people who are against it, a lot of people who are for it, for, you know, whatever reason that may be. I think a lot of people are more against it because they can't really breathe properly with the mask on. I know Ashley, she actually has asthma, and it's sometimes tough for her to breathe with the mask on. And like even when we go for our walks and stuff, we did a live stream the other day, and she was out of breath because like she wasn't getting the proper ventilation. So I can understand why people who might have like health problems or anything like that might not be able to do the whole mask thing. But for anybody who's just, not wearing the mask because they don't want to wear it and it's an infringement of their rights and stuff, I mean, if you don't like it, don't go to the parks. That's honestly, if you don't like it because of that specific reason, just don't go. I'm gonna say it like that. And if you're mad at me because of it, oh well. Just going to get some more of these comments here. My theory on reservations, and that's all it is. APs will get first crack on reservations, sort like getting first crack on Halloween party. Also, if you stay on property, you'll be guaranteed admission. Just my 2 cents. Jeremy, those are actually really good points. Really, really good points. I would feel like people who get hotel reservations for sure going to be admitted to the parks. Kind of like what they did with Galaxy's Edge reservations. If you were able to get a hotel reservation, you were able to lock in a Galaxy's Edge reservation from before it opened to the public. And then of course for APs, I don't know if they'll go ahead and give people that are APs the like first options to get it. I really don't know for sure, but it'd be nice. It'd be really nice considering like APs really don't get too much like they used to. Like they used to have AP days and stuff like that. Like APs really don't get that much anymore. So that'd be nice if they do get that. So if they do, fantastic. If not, oh well. Just a quick break real quick, guys. If you haven't, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really helps get this video out to more people. Also share it with people if you don't mind. Post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram, post it on Twitter, post it on Snapchat. I don't know. I really don't use Snapchat, so I don't really know that. But let's go ahead and continue here. If they're about the reservation system, Rise was a bit complicated. Don't want to imagine to go into the parks. I would assume they make the reservation system a lot easier than Rise of the Resistance boarding passes. I think what they'll do is they'll do it like how they do with the Flex Pass. So I don't know how many people who watch this have a Flex Pass or not, but basically you choose the day that you're looking to go. And if there's availability for you to go on that Flex Pass day, you basically go ahead and set up that that's the day you want to go. And that's basically it. I think that's exactly how they're going to do it. They're going to use the Flex Pass system for reservations on how people do it, but that's of course Disneyland. I don't know how they're going to technically do it in Disney World. So these are all speculations until we actually have facts. Do you watch any sports? Just curious. I do not. I'm not really a sports guy. I'm really more into like tech, video games, music, because I'm a DJ and stuff like that. So not really into sports. There's a very informative post including mentions of AP on Disney Parks blog. Can't post the direct link. I'll see if I can pull it up, Andrew. I hope the reservation system is not expensive, because it's going to be very expensive and I will not be able to afford it. Yadira, I don't think they're going to charge you to use a reservation system. Are kids also required to wear masks? I don't know if they are required to wear masks. I would assume any kid that's over like maybe 4 or 5, like maybe a kid like that old might have to wear a mask. But I don't think there's been any details on like the actual like set in stone kids have to wear masks if they're over this age. So I guess we'll see. My kids are 5 and 8. I know they won't wear them at Disneyland when we go. Yeah, I know a lot of parents are also worried about their kids wearing masks. That's something, of course, to be a little bit more worried about, because I mean, one, you have to make sure that you protect your kids, and two, you have to make sure that you're abiding by the rules if they're required to wear masks. But I think another thing that's more important is if your kid is required to wear a mask and they don't want to, then that should probably give you an idea that you shouldn't take your kid to Disneyland. And once again, I'm just being real. I'm just putting my opinion out there. But if your kid does not want to wear a mask, then they probably shouldn't go to Disneyland, because one, it's making them less safe for themselves, and two, it's probably going to cause more of an issue for you as a parent. And that's what I think. And if somebody gets mad at me for that, then somebody gets mad at me for it. But honestly, I'm just putting my opinion out there, guys. I'm not saying that Disneyland's going to do this, but I just really think like prioritizing what's more important than going to a Disneyland park is what people should really be thinking about. And if people don't want to wear a mask because they feel like it's an infringement, or if kids can't wear a mask because they don't like the way it feels or they're not comfortable, that's perfectly fine if people feel that way. But then you shouldn't go to a theme park that requires you to wear a mask. Like, you should honestly not go to a place that's telling you, hey, in order for you to come in here, you have to wear a mask. Like if that's the case and you can't abide by those rules because of whatever reason, then don't go. Honestly, don't go. That's just how it is. It's like if you can't follow the rules because of whatever reason, then you don't go. And like I wish more people would understand that, but there's so many people nowadays that are saying all this stuff about how their rights are getting taken away and stuff like that. But it's like, oh my god, we're just trying to keep people safe so we can get this stuff out of here, so we can get this whole mass stuff out of here. So yeah. I see Murphy's in the chat. I also saw Disney Mama in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna go ahead and continue here so I can try to get these comments for you guys. If you don't want to wear a mask, then don't go. Oh, yeah, thank you. I just saw that. Do you think the prices will drop since you can't enjoy the parade, fireworks, and meet and greets? I don't think the prices are going to drop. I think what's going to happen is they're going to have like a discounted ticket sale. Like say Disneyland opens August 1st. I think they're going to have like discounted tickets only during a certain time, like maybe the month of August, where if you get the reservation system, you get a discounted ticket for like, 25% of what the actual cost is to get into gate. I think that's what they would do. I don't think they would lower prices completely. I just think it's going to be like a discounted rate for a certain amount of time, just so they can get people back in the parks and they can get people back to enjoy the parks. And of course, they can get tourism back so people can actually come to the respective locations of where the parks are and actually spend more money. Because that's ultimately what this is. It's about people spending money at Disneyland and Disney World and all that. That's the biggest thing. That's the whole reason why this is all happening. They just want people to come back and spend money because, of course, a big corporation like that, it's losing thousands, if not millions of dollars a day by being closed. Let's see. Kids over 3 years old must also wear it. That's how Universal is doing it. Okay, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Do you think it's possible Disney may only accept one-day tickets, no APs, for the first few weeks of the reservations? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to alienate APs 100%. If they do, I think a lot of APs are going to be extremely upset because of that, considering that they pay so much money a year to have access to the park for however many days that they do. And then for them to be completely alienated, I think it's going to be a big uproar from the APs. But I mean, then again, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen until it actually happens. Let's see. Oop. 1 second here. Existing ticket holders and annual pass holders will be able to make reservation requests in phases before new tickets are sold. We'll be reaching out to those guests soon to provide additional details. Thank you, Andrew, for sending that over. I had not seen that that being posted anywhere, so fantastic news. Thank you so much for sending that over, Andrew. I really, really appreciate that. So from what Andrew found and from what Disney had posted today, apparently for Walt Disney World, not Disneyland yet, annual pass holders and people who already bought tickets for future dates will be granted access to the reservation system prior to just regular guests. So that's good news if that actually happens. I mean, I don't want to go too far into it until I actually see that action happening, because Disney can be like, you know what, we're going to change our mind. We're not going to do that. Because they can totally do that. I mean, they can do whatever they want. So that's great news if it happens. I just can't wait until the actual, action happens so people know that that's actually what's going on. The Disneyland Beat had their ideas on what to expect if you're planning on going in 2020. I do not know what the Disneyland Beat is. Let's see. We made a reservation for September, but thinking about postponing to 21 might be a good option if you're more worried for you, your safety and your family. But I mean, ultimately, we have to wait to see how things are going to play out by then. Who knows? In 2 months, maybe things might technically will go back to normal-ish. We don't know it yet until we actually get there. Let's see. The CDC recommends children 2 years and older wear masks. Oh, okay. Let's see. Not Chris, you're right. They got to follow the rules, or they shouldn't go. They'll endanger others. Yes, definitely. Saying 2 years and older need to wear a mask. New subscriber. Love y'all channel, by the way. Thank you, Lizette. I'm from Arizona. I hope they still allow out-of-state people in. I'm AP2. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Diane. I really hope that they don't alienate APs, whether it's going to be somebody who's local or somebody from another state or not from around. like Anaheim area. So, you know, I really hope that there's no issue there. I'm wondering how reservations will work. Will it kind of be like Galaxy's Edge reservations where you can do the online at home? So, Ashley, what I had said earlier is I think it's going to be like the Flex Pass thing. I think what they're going to do is they're going to do like the Flex Pass thing where they allow you to do your reservation on the app or online. And you basically choose the day you want to go. And if it's available, you're in. If not, you see what else is available for the next day or next week or whatever. Disney Beat is a YouTube channel. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. I just sent the post link to the Duo Twitter account. Let me get that pulled up real quick. Andrew, I appreciate you, bro. Let me see. Did you send it like a mention? I should probably. Okay. Twitter. Let's load up, please. Okay, perfect. Let's see, notifications, mentions. Okay, perfect. I gotta pull it up right here. Let's see, plans unveiled. Yeah, so I think a lot of the stuff that we've gone over here. Oh, let's see. Cast members as well as guests 3 years of age and older were required to wear a mask or appropriate face coverings. All right, that's the first thing that popped up when I looked. That was the first thing I saw with my eyes. So there you go, guys. This is something. I'll actually put this link in the description of the video. I'll actually do that now just so I don't forget. So people who are going to be going to the parks, they are required to wear a guest. So any guests over 3 years old, so that includes kids, they would be required to wear a mask. So make sure you keep that in mind for anybody who is not down with that. Too bad, so sad. Sorry to say. But if you're not down with that, don't go. Keep your family and yourself safe first. Let's see. I doubt Disney alienates APs. Too much guaranteed revenue for Disney as corporate to risk pissing people off. 100% agree. If it's like the Flex Pass or reservation, do you think they will accommodate with pass prices? I don't know what they're going to do with past prices. Like I had said earlier, I think what they should do is they should do some type of benefit for APs, especially for the people who bought like the Signature or the Signature Plus, who are basically entitled to go to Disneyland every single day or, you know, majority of the year. They should definitely get something to benefit the fact that they've spent that much money or are spending that much money for that higher tier pass. And they're technically possibly not even be able to access the park because of the situation that they got going on. Or if Disney was smart and all they cared about was money, and I'm saying if, guys, what they'll do is anybody who has a Signature Plus or a Signature, they won't have to worry about the reservation system or the Premier. I think if they were smart and all they cared about was money, that would be a great way to attract more guests to buying a higher tier pass and spending more money. I have no idea if that is something that they will do or if that is even a consideration, because, you know, they want to abide by the protocols for keeping people safe. But from a business standpoint, that would probably be a good way to make money if they were really in it for the money. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't know if that will ever be the case, but yeah. Another break here, guys. If you haven't already, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. The thumbs up do help people see this video more, like in the recommendations. So if you haven't already, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let's see. Chris, do you get a refund for your AP? I was told APs were refunded their dues and payments, etc. So we have the annual pass holder, or the annual pass where we do the monthly payments. We did have a payment that was taken out at the end of March. So we are technically entitled to that refund. But we actually are going to go the route to where we don't want the refund. We rather just have the extension of our pass. For anybody that did the refund and didn't do the extension of the pass, from what I heard, they're not going to be doing that refund until the parks reopen, which I don't really understand the point, considering that people probably wanted the refund right away because they needed the money because they might not be working. But if Disney's not going to give them the refund until the parks open, I feel like that's a total waste of time. Again, opinion, guys, opinion. I wish I had that GIF for that video. That's my opinion. Like, I totally need that. Like, boop. That's when I need to play it. Let's see. I agree. I think they won't alienate APs. Disney Flex Pass will be the future of APs. Definitely. I have signature. Hopefully, maybe they can implement maybe magic mornings. I will totally be okay with that and keep on getting signature. That's an idea that I actually didn't think of. Like if signature plus people get like access to the parks for 2 hours only if you have that pass. Then you get to enjoy the parks before the reservation people come in. That might be an idea. I don't know for sure, just because who knows what Disney's going to implement. But I'm not seeing any more comments here in the comment section, guys. Once again, I think there is a little bit of delay with that. So if there's anything that pops up that I don't get to, please make sure to ask it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer. Flex Pass is an annual pass that you can get for Disneyland. It's actually pretty beneficial for people who are mostly out of town, and for those who don't plan on going to Disneyland so many times. But one drawback, it does not include parking. So just keep that in mind. Super chat from Danny. That's my opinion. Thanks for the updates, homie. You're very welcome. Gotta get you a... Oh, hold on. No, we gotta make that louder. What is going on here? Let's turn up the volume here. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Let's turn up the volume a little bit and get that. Thank you so much for the super chat, Danny. Much appreciated. And, appreciate the support and all that. But yeah, guys, that's all the information I have as far as Disney World opening. Once again, just to kind of reiterate that July 11th is when Magic Kingdom is opening, as well as Animal Kingdom. And then July 15th is going to be Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So if you're planning on going to Walt Disney World, just know that I'll just go over the bullet points one more time real quick. Disney will require a reservation system for guests to come to the parks. So keep that in mind. More information on that, I'm assuming, will come out once it gets closer to that time frame. Guests and cast members will be required to wear masks on Disney property. Keep that in mind as well. If you're on Disney property, you're required to wear masks. Any children that are above 3 years old are also required to wear a mask as well. It's a proposal, so it's not set in stone until they get approved, but most likely will be. Yes, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. The company will be distributing masks for cast members, supposedly. Disney will not be providing masks to guests unless you buy it. So I'm assuming that they will have masks to buy at the parks or the resort or whatever. Cast previews and soft opening preview days proposed ahead of July 11th. So June, I'm assuming, is going to be all cast related openings. So casts are going to be able to go to the parks and kind of get an idea of what to expect for the park reopening. They're going to be trained and all that. And that's going to happen all prior to the park's opening. There will be a reduction in park capacity for social distancing purposes, as well as temperature screenings for guests and cast members. So for the temperature screenings, I'm assuming they're going to do the forehead screen. And if you're not over, I think it's 100.3 degrees, you're good to go. If you're over, I'm pretty sure they'll tell you that you have to leave or whatever. Once again, I think that if they're going to have temperature screenings, that they will need to have temperature screenings, security, park entrance. Because if they have this intermingled or switched, it's going to be a bad experience for guests. As far as reduction in the park capacity, I think minimum it's going to be 30% reduction. I mean, Shanghai Disney supposedly did a reduction of 75% of their capacity, that's a huge number. That's astronomical. So if that's the case and it goes higher than 30%, that's going to be huge considering how much bigger Disney World is than like Disneyland. Let's see. They will temporarily suspend. Oh yeah. So parades, fireworks, and shows, like events that attract crowds, all gone temporarily until they can get everything back on track. So just keep that in mind. No parades, no fireworks, no shows. Fortunately, that is all put on suspension. Also suspended, meet and greets. So no character meet and greets. I think that's the only thing. No character meet and greets. So you'll not be able to meet characters physically, like in person. It might be somebody who might be on stage, so you can kind of see them from afar, but nobody you can actually touch, hug, take a picture with, anything like that. So you cannot do that. Disney is apparently developing relaxation zones for guests who want to, temporarily take off their masks. Like I had said earlier, I think it's kind of like the situation where like a smoking area would have been, where people who want to go and have a smoke, they can go in a designated area. But in this case, people who want to go and take off their masks, they can go in a designated area. and they can just do that temporarily. And then once they leave that area, they have to put the mask back on. So if that's the case, nice little addition, because I'm pretty sure people want to break from their masks. So that's going to be a good thing for people who might need it. And then, of course, currently there is no hotel updates or queue updates. That, I don't know for sure if that's going to be true, just because apparently they're taking reservations for certain hotels and resorts in June. But considering that the parks aren't going to open until July, I think they're going to probably change that date. So just keep that in mind. I also put a lot of the details from Parks blog for Walt Disney World. I put the link in the description, so if you want to read more about it, you can. It'll be down there. Also, a couple other things in the description. We have our socials. We have our Patreon if you want to be an extra supporter. And I think we have like our affiliate links for the stuff that we use for equipment for our vlogs. So if you want to check any of that out, that's all in the description below. But I think that's going to be it for the video itself, guys. I don't see... Oh my god. Why is this giving me such an issue? I'm just trying to go back to the video. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. I'm going through the last couple comments that came through. I appreciate you guys putting comments in there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're good. So, last and final thing. If you haven't, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. It definitely helps support the channel. It spreads this video out to other people so they can see the information. Also, share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're going to be doing more YouTube videos on Disney updates, Disney parks, going to the parks once they open again. Also, a huge thing I want to talk about today night, just me playing music, Ashley dancing, be my dancer for the night, and we're just playing a bunch of different music. If you're watching this before the 30th of May, this Saturday we're doing a graduation and prom theme, so we're basically celebrating the class of 2020. So anybody who wants to participate, please go to our Instagram and check out the graduation picture that we posted with all the details on how to participate. But we hope to see whoever, sees this at whatever point. We hope to see you guys at our Twitch at some point so you guys can come enjoy some music. And yeah, guys, that's going to be it here. I really hope you guys enjoyed the information and this was informative to people who might have had questions. But that's it for me. So I'll catch you guys on the next video. Chris from Casa del Duo. Catch y'all on the Flippy Whippy. Bye, guys. Love ya.